let's see. Let's see if it does it now. All right. I think we got it now. I think we should be good now. So go ahead and come back in, tap the screen. So this is the info session for Intro to Holistic Medicine if you're interested in taking this course. It's a 12-week course split into 3 parts. So the first part is a foundations course, Introduction to Holistic Medicine. This is the first week, so we'll talk all about really the basis of holistic medicine and really where we sit position-wise, especially with the incoming administration. So we'll have that discussion, we'll break that down. This is an interactive course. You can take it as kind of loose or as serious as you want. If you want a certificate or 3 CUs at the end of it, you are able to do that by paying the technology fee. It's $39 for a month for the 3 months, or you can pay it as $110, and that's in the email. It's all through my school, the International Institute of Holistic and Integrative Sciences. So I know it's a long thing. It'll be in the email. So if you wanted to register, it's totally free to take the class, just if you want to get a certificate at the end. So how the class works is we have discussions every single week about the topic. We have information. I will also be going live. I have a morning flow class as well. It's Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That class is again morning flow, so you don't have to register for that class. It's a drop-in. All of my classes are listed. Most of them are listed. All of them are listed on TikTok. I have my lectures on YouTube. I'll put the morning flows in there so you can register, and it can notify you when I go live. The playlist, there is a playlist, Intro to Holistic Medicine. I definitely encourage you to save that playlist. There's announcements and things like that. So right now in the process, or in the journey, if you will, if you filled out the form, you should have gotten an email that kind of welcomed you, gives you some general information, when it's held, that sort of thing. Then you'll receive an email a little bit after that about joining a community. So I send out emails just about every day right now, really kind of just educating people. My DMs also are always open, so if you have any questions. And so we're talking about holistic medicine and learning all about it in a very structured way. I'll continue going in the structure. Once you decide what kind of community you want to be in, so there's 3 types of communities, right? So remember, we can approach holistic medicine from all different perspectives. And when we're making any conscious decisions, right, we make decisions with intention. We're not passive vessels in the holistic medical practice. Everything is conscious and intentional. So there's 3 communities that I've built. So there's one holistic health coaching cohort. That's for people that intend to do this as a profession. They want to, they want to move forward. They want to, do this. Either they want to add this to what they're already doing, or to enhance what they're doing, or they want to do a bridge from conventional to holistic, or whatever in between. So I've worked with all different types. So that's more of a professional minded perspective. Then there's the holistic lifestyle community. That's more of a personal and family mindset. So meaning that you're coming really to help yourself and help your community, help your family, not necessarily from a professional perspective, but just really learning, wanting to learn to heal yourself naturally and become less dependent upon a disease management system. And we'll talk more about a disease management system all this week. So that is what that community is for. And then I have Pure Black, and that is more from an Afro-Indigenous lens, really discussing, the issues that matter. We know that the healthcare system is failing us at 52% subpar care, worse in the South. And that's based off the Commonwealth Fund study that was done in 2024. Again, what is driving our healthcare costs is chronic disease, lifestyle modifiable factors. Why is that? Because of massive misinformation and lack of access. Access is not just access to health insurance, it's access to information, understanding how to treat my body, what the data means in my body, me having protections over my data, and then being able to know what to do. In this class, we're going to be working with subjective and objective data. Subjective is questionnaires, so we'll be working with one questionnaire. And the reason why we use questionnaires is to be able to put you in a container, right? You are a subject, right? Not necessarily a personal, even though you are personal if you're working with yourself. But we want to make sure that we put some distance in this. Yeah, correct, exactly. The intro class is a prerequisite class towards the holistic health coaching program. So we're really just taking this step by step, and I'm trying to see who has interest in what. So again, this is an interactive community, and so I have a ton of experience, and I've been doing this for a long time, and so I can do just about anything. I mean, you see, like, the Hillman Talk thing blew up, and boom, now you're taking a legitimate class. I definitely live intentionally and know how to adapt. And so, but I need to know from you guys what exactly you're needing in the holistic medical space. Anything that you need, I mean, like a genie in a bottle, right? Like, tell me. I've been in the field a long time, and I know a lot of people. So if you're looking to get into professionally, I can show you that way. If you're looking at it to treat your family, I was in family practice. Primarily, I still do see patients. I just am very selective with who I see now. And so I work with pretty much 5 major patient groups, and I'll teach you how to work with these 5 major patient groups. So metabolic health, patients that want to lose weight, gain weight, etc. But also those patients that have a lot of like hypertension, diabetes, those sorts of conditions that are all metabolically driven based off of your metabolism. So optimizing your metabolism. Also within that category goes athletes. I've worked with a lot of athletes from all different perspectives, all different angles, even into like VO2 maxes and all kinds of different stuff. People that want to like climb Mount Kilimanjaro, or people that want to run those 24-hour crazy marathon things that they run all the time. So I've worked with a myriad of, anything in the optimal health space, the biohacking, whatever. Also chronic disease. So that's a gamut of chronic disease. We're talking autoimmunity, we're talking digestive, IBS, IBD, colitis, Crohn's, hormone conditions, so perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, perinatal care, prenatal care, also to hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, goiters, Graves' disease, I said Crohn's already, that's a digestive one. Neurological issues, so Parkinson's, dementia, cognitive impairment, autism, neurodivergence, ADD, ADHD, hyperactivity, chemical sensitivities, toxic exposures, nuclear exposures, heavy metal exposures, all kinds of stuff. So we go on and on and on, right? So I've got a lot of knowledge that, like, I want to move more into the education space, more into writing books, more into relaxing. I've done the years of working clinically, and so but we need people. We need a lot of practitioners in the field. We also need people that are advocating for themselves and resisting against a very oppressive system, which we'll talk about, and just really having more education in there. So Our classes are held, okay, so there's several different things to realize. So I teach multiple classes. That's the first thing to realize. So Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., I teach morning flow. Okay, morning flow is a 1 hour class, and it's really to set the tone of your day. It's 15 minutes of movement, 15 minutes of meditation, 15 minutes of journaling, and 15 minutes of planning your day. The meditation, which will be in the discussion groups for you guys, is a prosperity meditation. I also emailed it out to you. You don't have to take this class. It's just a drop-in class because it's in the morning, so I get it. But it is one class that I offer. Then Intro to Holistic Medicine is I do it part 1 and part 2. So Monday I'm gonna post in the discussion group the what we're reading and what we're talking about during the week, right? And again, it's gonna be a lot of information. Don't feel like you have to do everything, but it's gonna be what we're talking about, right? It is gonna be live here. So Monday, but I do things proactively and give you things like a real course, like I'm a real professor. So Monday, I'm gonna post all your assignments. So there's pre-work. I went through and did your pre-work today and sent you out that. So make sure you choose your community, because each community will have different homework and different assignments. So choose your community. So we've got that. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on organizing your community. Most of it's organized, but making sure your discussions are in there and everything's easy to find, right? Exactly. So the assignments are going to go in the group. So once you get in there, we'll kind of just do it step by step. There will be probably a little module in there, and you can attach your assignments. There'll be like a little quiz. I have to figure out how I'm gonna facilitate it. So if you go to the link in my bio and scroll down and click there's a form, register to Intro to Holistic Medicine, and then it will send you an email to confirm. So click on a link, and this is just for my practice, right? So there's a link in my bio. If you're interested in taking Intro to Holistic Medicine, this class, or Morning Flow, where you just want to hear about holistic medicine and you want to join a community, right? You just click the link in my bio and scroll down, and there's a form to register to Intro to Holistic Medicine, and you click on there, you're good to go. And then it will just send you emails. And then I send you email pretty much every day. So there's 3 communities, and then I'll be posting information. So we have like recommended books, but then like maybe this group is going to work with this book a little bit more, or this group is going to work with this book a little bit more, etc. So you can join any community and join the conversation, but they're big conversations. So, we want to break it up, and so it's not so heavy into one space. I do record the classes live. So Wednesday at 7 p.m. I do an hour class. So I post the discussion on Monday. So you kind of get a feel. You can kind of read, look up things, etc. Right? And then on Wednesday, I'm going to go on live and do a lecture on what it is we are talking about that week, right? And it's a lecture to start to kind of spark your thinking, okay? And get you to start to look at the information. It's Eastern Standard Time. So I do everything in Eastern Standard Time because my practice has been on Eastern Standard Time forever. I'm not even on Eastern anymore, but everything is on Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so there's a 1-hour lecture on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll go over that information. And then so then we'll continue the discussion in there. After the class is done, the replays will be in the group. So I'll record them live. So if you hit them, you get them live. Yeah, exactly. I haven't gone in. Tomorrow I'm going to work on it. Tomorrow, because I just want to make sure it's organized and, it makes sense. And then you'll be able to download the health app and all that stuff. We'll totally get there. Just bear with me. I like to do things step by step. And I also like to bring everybody's nervous system down. So because we can't think if we're in so we want our prefrontal cortex to be firing because we want to be more creative, and we're going to say, oh, okay, and then we can pivot. Oh, okay, this person needs that, or that person needs that, or, oh, Hillman Talk isn't even a real entity, and so all right, let's let's let them get themselves together, right? But let's keep going with what we're doing over here, right? So it's all just in being resilient and being in your flow, right? So that's why I love morning flow. That's how I met Anna, our favorite advisor, was really just being in flow, right? And I'm just going to be here in the moment. And then boom, we're just going to flow here and we're going to flow there. And I'm going to take this step by step. I'm not going to move too quick. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to watch that. Exactly. We are supposed to be, the 92%, we're supposed to be on rest, right? And I take that seriously. We are on an energy economy, okay? Our energy is our currency. It is our creation, okay? And so we are going to conserve our energy to ourselves, right? Doing what we need to do for ourselves, body, mind, and spirit, and all the things, right? So I'm over here working it out, building my little holistic health empire, right? With you guys educating me educating you, and we're over here getting healthy, getting cute, doing our thing. Like, let it fall, right? I've been caught like, wait till when people find out. So back in my Clubhouse days, they know I predicted all this. I said it is. I said it's going. Okay, so yes, so 6 a.m. is my morning flow class. You do not have to take that class. It's another class that I offer. So here's the thing. I'm an educator and I have a school, right? So there's multiple classes. So we have a morning flow class, and I can also do, if I know that there's a lot of people from the Pacific, I can do a later class, a late morning flow class, right? And so again, it's we're communicating. So there's also a survey, so you'll get an email probably tomorrow when I give you the syllabus and the information. I know, exactly, right? They were brutal on Clubhouse, weren't they wild? Oh my God! Remember I said them though. I said this healthcare system, this thing's gonna fall. This thing is gonna fall. This thing is gonna come crashing down. Whatever, they didn't believe me. So anyway, so yeah, if I get a lot of feedback, right, I will do a later class. Again, I built my life for flexibility, so I can do like an afternoon morning flow for Eastern Standard Time, and then it'll be a morning for Pacific Standard Time. And so we'll work it out. I definitely want to do a book club. And so with the communities, I should also tell you, so all the communities are HIPAA compliant. They're also all, highest level of security. You can opt out at any time. And they're protected. And so anything that you say in there, it's owned by myself, right? I'm the only owner, single owner, don't have any, people lingering over me. I make all my own decisions. And it's all part of, again, my health tech company. I also own a media company as well. So I build these things, all sorts of things. No, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. You're here. You're good. Yeah, I'm good. This is a spontaneous live. So this is just one I just did spontaneously because I was getting a lot of questions and I wanted to just jump on and just answer in real time and real space and make sure everybody's good and everybody's nervous system is good and everybody knows I'm not going anywhere and what the process is and all that, right? Because there's been a lot of, we all kind of got swept up in this Hillman Talk thing, and it was great, and it's wonderful. And now, like, they're kind of working all their things out, and that's great. And so our class officially starts this week, right? So this is our intro. But here's the thing I know about from teaching, we're going to have stragglers, right? So I had to position it and organize it in a way to accommodate people that I know are going to be like dropping in and they're going to be like, oh, I want to take this class. Oh, I want to take, so I built it in a way that took some of the pressure off of it, right? So we kind of start at the beginning together. We're going to start this week. We're going to break out some pretty heavy topics, I must say. We're going to talk about ethics. We're going to talk about informed consent. We're going to talk about superiority bias. We're going to talk about confirmation bias. We're going to talk about what we're going to be looking at over the next, week. And so we're definitely going to be looking at a lot of different aspects of our healthcare system. So it's definitely a packed week. So Wednesday and a Saturday. So Wednesday I go on for an hour, and then it's a traditional semester. So it's going to be it's three credits, right, for this class. This class is 12 weeks long, so it's four weeks per part. So I break it up into 3 parts. So your standard course credit class. So Wednesday I do a live, and it's just kind of the initial thoughts. I'll post the replay in the community, so you won't have access to it live, so you'll need to be in the community. The community is free, by the way, so just to clarify it, there's only a fee if you want to get a certificate or CUs, or you're interested in that, and then we can have a conversation there. Of course, I definitely appreciate the support, and I have lots of different things that you can invest in for yourself, for your health. Once you get into the group, you decide what group you are in. There's always access if you need to order labs, or you need to order supplements, or book a consultation, or get any kind of healthcare aspect of it. I'm definitely available for that too. But right now it's really focused on just making sure that you guys get what you need, and making sure that you guys feel supported, and I know what you need. So there's a survey and an email. So if you click on that, if we decide into the course we can't get it, can you restate your question, Essie? I don't know. So yeah, so let's see, what else was I gonna say? Okay, so once you get into the community, we'll kind of organize it, so you'll have your discussion. I'll post that information on Monday. I'll also post the replay. I need to go in and put all the events in there too, so you know when the classes are held, because it will also send you the information once you're in the group. So that kind of makes it easy too. Let's see. Then Saturday, I do a longer lecture, same information, but now I'm kind of reinforcing it, because again, this is a lot of information. You practice a long time. I have 7 degrees, it's going to be like a water hose. And so I want you to really pace yourself. You don't have to do everything all at once. And that's why feedback is important, me knowing what you need so I can guide you in the right direction. So please don't get overwhelmed. Please reach out, ask for help, ask each other. That's what it's there for. That's what we're there for. Yeah, of course, definitely. Yeah, totally. So if you get in there and you're for free, and you're like, hey, I really like this vibe and this is good, and I want to do this certification, feel free, right? So even with my brick and mortar, I built my practice out of educating people. So I educated people and I got results, right? Those are the 2 things that I built my practice off of. So I'm more of a long game person than a short game person, right? I'm not interested in the get rich quick kind of whatever, right? I've built my practice and my career off of integrity. I've built it off of doing right by people. And also even in my business degree in global business, I learned a lot about sustainability and equitability, and how to structure sustainable and equitable businesses. There are ways to do that where both the business and the consumer of the business have an equitable relationship. And that's what I strive to have always, is equitable, sustainable relationships that are balanced. Again, I live this whole holistic lifestyle is my whole everything. So, everything is about balance, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, everything is a balanced state. So that's really what, we're looking to. So the intro class is a prerequisite class, right, for your certificate. So meaning you get a certificate that says you completed Intro to Holistic Medicine, right? That is a prerequisite. It's 3 credits. You can take that. If you need it for some other institution, you can reach out to me and I can see if I can apply to that institution, because there's not that many, number one, and there's pros and cons to all, and I just haven't made the decision of which one I want, because I don't know the community I'm going to ultimately be serving. I have an idea, but here you are, so it takes some time. And so However, if you want to be a holistic health coach and go through my school, then that will serve, as like your first class, and then, you go to your second class and that kind of thing. So you'll probably go to Intro to Holistic Medicine 2, because then it goes into all of the rest of the in-office testing. So in this class, we only go through 3 objective markers. So 1 subjective questionnaire and 3 objective markers. So we're just going over your salivary pH, your urinary pH, and your heart rate. So Holistic Medicine 2 is going to go over more like bowel transit time, goes over like a way to test for food reactions and sensitivities with your body, goes over like how you test your adrenal glands and your hormones using, it's at-home testing, so you don't need, you don't need any like labs or anything. So how much is the next class? So which class? So again, the way I'm structuring it is that you can start the class, right? The class itself is 110 if you pay it in full for the 12 weeks, or it is $39 a month for the class. Now, you don't necessarily have to pay that to take the class. You can take the class. If you want to get a certificate for the class, that's where the fee comes in. Oh, class 2. I haven't even gotten there yet. Like we're not even in class 1. Remember, I take it like one step at a time, because I have to see like who wants to take it or whatever. But I try to price things pretty reasonably, just so I make it kind of manageable. But I really take things like one step at a time, when it's all a flow. I really do live my life in flow. I kid you not. Like I just, my days of like forcing and trying to fix and trying to control and manipulate and make happen, and energy economy, I don't have time for it. No energy for it, really. Yeah. So, yeah. Correct. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, and you'll get a certificate at the end. The system all figures it out, and that sort of thing. Obviously, you'll have to complete the assignments, so you'll have to complete the discussions, and you'll also have to complete the capstone for the class. So the class is self-paced. So if you want to catch them live, it's Wednesday and Saturday. However, if you want to take the class and you want to work it in your schedule, it's about 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours a week to budget for, and you would get the replays in the course shell. So you could watch the replays of the class afterwards, that sort of thing. And maybe you'd be able to catch a live or two, but to pass the class, it's not required to catch them live, because the replays will be available to watch. So you'll be able to watch the replays and then, respond and participate and all that kind of stuff. So I did a lot of online education, a lot of hybrid education. So hybrid education is where it's like self-paced. I mean, it's structured, but it's self-paced. It's like this kind of like blend between all of it, where you have discussion, to engage. You have written assignments. This class doesn't have any written assignments per se. It has more of we're looking more at the data and interpreting the data. That's what this class is more about. But you'd have assignments due and that sort of thing. And then you would have either capstone for the class, or you could have group projects, or there's all kinds of ways that you can do this. And it being also social media interactive, we can have a lot of fun with that dynamic too. There's just so many things that we can do, and not being under this conglomerate. I wanted 2 things. I wanted to be a doctor, and I wanted to be self-employed. Why did I want to be self-employed? So that I don't have anybody that's telling me what to do, how to do it, why to do it. I don't want a whole bunch of people to be bickering with and arguing with and this and that and that. What I want my own freedom. I want to be able my freedom to create anything that I want, to go, oh, here's an opportunity. People want to learn about holistic medicine. Great. Here's what I have to offer. If you guys dig that, then, it's that's much more how I'd like things to go than this kind of militant, like, you will conform. I'm just not a conformist. I never really have been like that. I get kicked out of every cult I've ever been at. Like, I just, like, it starts good, like they think they've got somebody on the hook, and then next thing you know, I'm asking questions like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right, and that doesn't sound right, and what are you talking about with that? And then next thing you know, they're escorting me out, they're escorting, sorry ma'am, this isn't gonna work for you. I'm like, but I just got here. So yeah, no, I'm not one of those. I think for myself. I expect other people to think for themselves. I enjoy intellectual discussion, intellectual conversation. I don't think I know everything. In fact, I really believe I know nothing, because the more that you learn, the more you realize, holy cow, like, there's a lot of stuff out here. Like, what is going on? Even if we sat and tried to sit and absorb all of it, even if we were like, to hell with these jobs, I'm just gonna, like, be a sponge of knowledge all day, you still couldn't learn everything. Like, it's just not possible. So um yeah, so exactly, I'm a total go with the flow, but I'm very grounded at the same time. My Cancer moon saves me a lot in the grounding department, because otherwise the Aquarian probably would not get anything done. Hey, how are you? So you're just gonna go to the link in the bio. Once you hit the link in the bio, scroll down, and then it'll say register to Intro to Holistic Medicine. You click that link, fill out the form, and then it'll send you an email. And then just keep watching the emails and keep tuning in, and I'll scoop you in if you need to. Since you're on YouTube, if you need to DM me, you can do it either through IG or through TikTok if you're on TikTok, or and there's so many ways to get in touch with me. So just pick away, and I'll find it, because they all funnel back to me somehow. So the way I have everything kind of configured, because again, like, I created my life where it's I can manage it, right? I'm managing my own life. I'm the creator of my life. That's why I started doing Morning Flow, because it helps remind me that I'm creating my day. I'm creating my world. I'm creating my experience. I'm not at the effect of it. I'm not powerless to it. I'm not helpless to it. I'm not hopeless to it. I am creating it in real time, in 3G, 4K, and 5G. So and very much present and accounted for with it all. So, yay. Yeah, so Intro to Holistic Medicine, 12 weeks, 3 parts to the class. It's interactive, so we'll have discussions in this class. We'll have live, classes in this particular class, and there will be recorded so you can view them after. So it's self-study. You can follow along in the class, or you can, spend your time if you find something that we're going through really interesting. As long as you're not, seeking certification for it, you can really use it as exploratory. Once you get into the community, so first things first, you want to do your pre-work. So go to any of the playlist, Intro to Holistic Medicine. The last video that I posted is your pre-work. I also emailed that out this morning. If you registered after this morning, you wouldn't have got that email. You'll probably get one tomorrow, so just look out, because I send them out pretty much every day, just kind of giving you instructions, and also based off feedback I'm getting. So if you're commenting like, hey, what's this or what's that, if I see, hey, I'm getting a lot of comments with this one, I'll jump on live and answer the questions in real time or whatever. So definitely hit your bell, save the playlist, because I do announcements and updates there. Also, I'll do it in the communities that you're in, whichever one you're in. So there's 3 total. Again, there's 1 if you want to do it more professionally, 2 if you're just coming for yourself and your family, 3 if you're looking at it from a more culturally intelligent perspective based off of Afro-Indigenous teachings. So there's just some nuance with that. So those are the 3 groups. You can choose whichever one, and we're kind of going through the information. I will recommend books and things like that. So I was thinking, really looking at the book list for this month, and then selecting one book to have like a book club starting next month. So in the course shell, it'll have event tab, it'll have resources. I'll also make sure I post all of the classes in the course shells as well, or in the communities rather, so you'll be able to see the schedule. So you won't have to be like, oh my god, when is she going live again? Because you'll just be able to log in and then say, oh okay, and you'll be able to actually put it on your calendar and all that kind of stuff. Remember, I own a health tech company, so it's all techie. So yeah, so it's just making sure everybody kind of, because there is a lot of customizations that I can do and a lot of different things, so that's why I'm taking it step by step and getting your feedback, so I know, oh, okay, they want this, all right, let me set it up like that. Oh, they want that, let me set it up like that. Okay, so it's like, we're working together as a team here. Like, I don't want to colonize you, like you don't want to be colonized. Okay, so there is a button. So did you get the email today? If you got the email today, there's a button in there that says like join your community and also hit the survey. If not, you can wait until tomorrow for the email to come out. And I can send an email out to you. I think I was working on one earlier. So yeah, I was trying to work on like a template. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. I love being a doula. I mean, I wasn't a doula, but I love doulas. Um, yeah, so you'll just, if you've registered, you'll get an email. If you haven't gotten an email like by tomorrow morning, shoot me a DM. For sure. You should get an email though. If you filled out the form today, because I'm just kind of putting them all in there and I'm setting up all the things as we go along. So yeah, so I've worked with a lot of doulas. I think that they are amazing. I think that's kind of the original way that we used to give birth. It's just the business of birthing is like such a thing. I mean, I can do a whole class on perinatal, prenatal, postnatal. In fact, I could do 3 separate classes on perinatal, prenatal, postnatal, just all of the information that is needed from the patient side. Because remember, this is really about you being educated to navigate the system as well. I've learned a lot because I was literally the cleanup crew of medicine. So I've seen a lot of the mistakes and I've also learned a lot. And advocacy is really important, like understanding what your rights are over your body, what your rights are over your decisions, what your rights are in the healthcare system. All of these things are like, again, we're gonna go over this like first bit, just so we understand the scope and the climate, right? Because I also see a lot of like natural health providers, practitioners or whatever, jumping on here saying that they can diagnose disease, meaning they say, oh, I'm giving you this herb for this disease or that disease or this issue. That's actually illegal. You could actually get charged for practicing medicine without a license, right? So you should know your jurisprudence. So I'm going to teach you jurisprudence the first week. So understanding, what it's like when you are a holistic provider or a holistic person, or just somebody who values their body and what they put in it, who wants to have, a right over what comes and goes in their body, will definitely want to tune into the conversation. And so, no, we're good. We're so good. That's why I come on live, just to soothe y'all souls. We're good. We're already started because we're here. We're talking. So we're already in it. We're already in the vortex. Isn't that what Esther Abraham Hicks says? They're like, the vortex. We're in the vortex. So, yeah, we're good. Yeah. We're learning. Learning is like, that's what I said, like learning is not a destination, right? It's a journey, right? We're going to learn so much along the way, rest assured. And that's why I remember back like being so like studious, right? And so like, oh my God, I need to, let me tell you something. 7 degrees is a lot, right? You get to a point where you're like, no, I'm going to make this my own. I'm going to, study things that matter to me, whatever the assignment is. I'm going to make sure that it applies to me, because if I'm going to invest, right? So you're investing either way. You're either going to invest your time or you're going to invest money, right? Some people invest both. It's just your level of investment, right? Obviously, if you invest both, you're going to gain more, right? Because the more you give, the more you receive, right? That's what they say anyway. So the reality is that whatever you're investing yourself in, whether it is time, you really should make sure that the information is something you're going to use on your journey, right? So if maybe we're going over, that's why I intended this. I intended these communities. I intended who would be looking for these communities, right? And intended what those people's needs are, right? And am now crafting all of your education, because remember, I've been doing this a long time, your education to span that, and then I can personalize it where I can say, you guys really focus on this information, you guys really focus on this information, you guys really focus on this information. And there's crossover too, but at the end of the day, it's about you not seeing this information as overwhelming or fearful or run away from it, but much rather something that now you can start to build some self-confidence in, because you have a professional that's guiding you to the right information, how to look at the information, how to discern, what's good, what's bad, because it's not just the conventional doctors you have to be aware of. It's also, the a lot of the people that are in the quote unquote natural health space too, that again they're not trained, they're not adequately trained. We have it on both sides. It's not an us against them sort of thing. I feel like I've kind of been caught in the middle, right? Where, there is a science that we can prove or disprove, but then there's also natural substances that I can take instead of these synthetics. So, why can't we just combine the two? I don't understand, so that's really what I provide to the world, is kind of the logic, with the woo woo. I need both, if I'm going to be working with a patient, because I don't want to assume. Now, if I'm practicing on myself, that's a whole different ball of wax. I'll probably push a lot more limits with my own self than I will with a patient, right? So there's just a different intention, there's a different structure, there's a different way that we have to go about it. That's also why each community is crafted the way that they are, because knowing that each community has, their unique needs, and that we see that. So cool. Do you guys have any other questions for me? And I'm sure we'll pick up more people as we go along. We're really just at the beginning of our journey. Again, I know how these things go. I know how, and what will happen is that people are like going to be signing up all the time, and they're going to be really excited. So I'm trying to really think of it from that perspective. Again, we're going into more proactive thinking instead of reactive thinking, because if we're always reactionary and we're always, in fight or flight mode, we're not going to really be able to sit back and relax and live a life of joy, or live a life of peace, or, any of those things. We're just going to be like whack-a-mole all the time. Like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to figure this out and I got to figure that out. And that's just not a way to live. It's highly reactive. It's hard on the cardiovascular system, it's hard on the blood, it's hard on the digestive system, it's hard on the immune system. But that sadly is how most people live all the time, is in this reactive state, and then they allow other people to emotionally or mentally or financially control or manipulate them. And sometimes we don't have any choice. Sometimes we have to succumb to that. And that's unfortunately the burden and the sadness of the system in and of itself, is the oppressive nature of it. While in the same time, we can reflect on it, we can take a step back, and we can do our part. And what's our part is making sure that we're educated so that we can help ourselves and we're less dependent upon a system. And so in healthcare especially, remember, health is a state that we build, right, over time. That's our personal responsibility. We don't need a system to tell us that it's okay for us to be healthy. Now, we don't need, but we would like a system to provide healthy food, water, and air, but we're not going to hold our breath. So we do need to learn, how to get off the food supply, which we'll maybe talk about when we talk about nutrition, in the second part. So the second part's all about your modalities. The first part, we look at foundations, we look at the science, we look at the legal part, we look at the foundations of what we're doing here. We get some landscape. Then the second part of this class is about modalities. So we're going to use the data that we collect, and we're going to see how the data changes, right? And so we're going to look at nutrition. I'm going to show you how to move the numbers up and down. We're going to look at mindfulness practices, and that's really where the heart rate's going to come in. There are some supplies for this class, so there's so I'll tell you kind of as time goes on. You'll need pH strips for urinary and salivary, and you'll also need a heart rate monitor. You can use an Apple Watch, a Fitbit. You can also get one, I think, online for like $20. So in fact, this one I got on the TikTok shop for about $20, and I tried it out for about 3 months, and it's been working fine. So so they're relatively easy to attain, and you won't need those until, like I said, the second or third week. This first week, we're just kind of setting the stage and letting things roll. Let's see. So getting back to the second part, so we'll focus on nutrition as a modality, mindfulness, and then movement. And so we'll look at those different modalities, and then we'll touch a little bit on natural remedies of how to move those numbers up and down. And so you'll have some practical tools. We're looking at digestion, upper GI digestion. So this will definitely help indigestion, heartburn, constipation, those sorts of things, gassing and bloating. Also, too, it'll take more of the pressure off of the immune system and the body's ability to detoxify. Urinary, we're going to look at oxidative stress and our body's ability to detoxify. So we look at the kidneys, because the kidneys are a primary filter. They assist your other primary filter, your liver. So we'll look at that, and we'll learn how to improve our antioxidant count. And then we'll also look at heart rate, understanding the role of heart rate in our stress response, and working with our vagal nerve a little bit, and vagal nerve exercises, and elevating and lowering our vagal nerve. So understanding how to be more present and use what we call biofeedback tools. So bio meaning body, feedback meaning we're getting feedback from. So that's in essence the course. Then we'll talk about kind of what next steps exist, what we're doing with the community, etc. And then the third part is a lot about case studies and really integrating the information, understanding practically how you use this information for yourself as well as for your community in a safe and healthy way. So, and teach other people. So that is the class. Boom, boom, boom. So it should be really fun. And again, I teach the morning flow. Starting not this week, but next week, I'll also have a couple co-working sessions that I'll be hosting on live. There are a couple times during the week. And I'm in those classes, actually, I teach you how to study. I teach you how to use biofeedback to rebalance your mind to be able to focus. I've spent a lot of years because my brain was so fried from so much trauma that I had to really reteach my brain how to do a lot of things because I just didn't have that ability. And so I did a lot of those techniques. So I'll teach you those things, especially how to study for long periods of time, and just really how to focus in general. So we'll start off with like an hour of those co-working sessions. I'm going to introduce you to the Pomodoro technique, and then also kind of teach you how to structure an hour time slot. So we'll do it in 2 Pomodoro sessions, and we'll do a little stretch water in the middle and really get a practice going. And I'll teach you kind of how to focus and different tools you can use to focus your brain, because it is a skill, and if that prefrontal cortex doesn't fire up, you'll definitely have some challenges. So we'll work on that. And then in March, like I said, I want to launch a book club where we just focus on one book in your particular community, and you guys kind of read through it and work through it and that kind of thing. So we'll work on that. Right now, I'm just gonna for sure. Yeah, you can. You can join whichever one works for you, or you can join all of them. It just really depends. Now, be mindful of your workload, but definitely it's okay. You can kind of run around and take a look. Again, it's about creating an experience, right, for you, and creating places where you can play and learn that are safe, that you can say and ask questions, that you need to ask, that are not affiliated with any sort of you know tech, big tech. I may be little tech, but they're big tech. So I just want to make sure that your health information is protected. So definitely, like, be mindful of what you post about your health, on social platforms, on social networks. You never know who uses that information. So health insurance companies are very tricky these days. They've been tricky, but even trickier, and they will use anything and everything that they can in order to, not offer health and life. So be mindful for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So everything you post can and will be held against you. Crazy. Yeah. And especially in those states where, the red states where they're really, excited about, unfortunately, we're going to lose so much public health data because they're refusing to report, and, they're trying to cover up all their tracks, because there're going to be a lot of, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to unalive. Yeah, wonderful. Through this experience. So really, again, we're trying to be proactive instead of reactive, making sure that we know what's up with people before things become too late. So what I mean by this is this, right? A lot of times people say, "Oh, everything was fine, and then it happened out of nowhere. I got this disease out of nowhere." Nothing happens out of nowhere with the body, I can tell you. Any given moment, you're either building health or building disease. The problem is that we don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system, right? So we have a system that ignores health, because health is a state that has to be created, right? And waits and to manage and capitalize on disease, right? So disease is big business. It is the leading driver of most of our healthcare costs. Most of our healthcare costs, and not to mention, it's not the actual treatment that's costing you as well. It's the administrative cost. It's about 40% total of the healthcare expenditure of what you're actually spending. It goes to just administration, right? So just going to the CEOs, the upper management, all those people, right? But they're not creating a better system. They're creating chaos and lack of information and distrust and whatever, and this kind of dog eat dog world. And so we have to really evaluate, right, what works about this system, what doesn't work about this system, and then ultimately, learn how to navigate the system effectively for our own good, and know our rights in the process. Because if we don't know our rights, then, different things can occur. So that's also too the difference in conversation in the communities as well, because they just are different. They're just different needs. Again, I've served so many people. So back to kind of who I serve, so we kind of get that out before I jump off. So metabolic health, so anything in that space: weight loss, weight gain, optimal function athletes, a lot of the digestive. Oh, I think I went through all that. And then also, I work with a lot of families that are interested in converting over from, that conventional practice. Either they don't agree with their practices, or they just, have not really gotten everything that they need. A lot of times, especially with peds and stuff like that, if you're not going to inoculate, there's not really a lot that they do per se, that we can't do in, standard remote patient care. So remote patient monitoring, we track all of that data in terms of development and all of that, and we can see, where we're going. But we look at so much more than just what your conventional doctor is. We look at nutrient deficiencies, we look at accumulated toxins, we look at overall organ health and function and areas of prevention. We also look at the human from multiple perspectives. We're looking at the human from a physical perspective, meaning their physical body. We look at it from their environment, meaning their internal environment and their external environments. We look at it from mental perspectives, all aspects of the mental perspective, not just from, a psychological, but also optimal functioning, optimal performance. We also look at it from an emotional perspective in terms of trauma, in terms of psychoneuroimmunology, which is the emotional and mental manifestations of trauma and disease. We also look at ancestral health and how a person connects with higher self and intuition, right? And then we also look at ancestral components, so breaking intergenerational trauma, really being able to close out the lines from the past, but also the future, and stand powerfully in the present, right? So that's what we really work on as holistic doctors. So we work on a lot, and we're looking at those perspectives from subjective, which is what the patient tells us, and then objective, which is what we can prove or disprove outside of ourselves. So we don't just do that. Also, too, if you do pay that technology fee, you do get put into more of a structured container called the Wellness Collective, and in there is actually a webinar that breaks down your health data a lot more and breaks all of the different aspects of testing that we can do. And so again, different communities. I have a lot of content, so different communities, I'll give you guys different information, and just different, again, it's different levels of investment of your time, of your energy, etc. And I don't want to give you things that you don't want, that you don't need, right? Because again, there's a lot, like I'll listen and I'll notice like there's a lot of people sick. So I went through and I did like a cough, cold, flu protocol and like threw it in the group. So hey, if you guys ever need this, it's in there. It's easier than doing the one-offs. It's easier to give lots of information to a community than it is to. And what's fascinating is that what's really cool is that I studied how to create communities like this in my MBA, and really make them so that they are supportive, and make sure that there's information that is guided, and that you're getting proper information and how to disseminate information and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool. Yay, I'm so glad that you're here. Yay. So welcome in. Yeah, and I'm about to jump off here shortly, and try to relax and enjoy the rest of my evening, and I have some work I have to do, so I just wanted to jump on live and answer any questions that you guys had. And feel free, if you have any other questions, feel free. And so, we'll just go on this ride and this journey together, of education and learning. And, holistic medicine is just this amazing world. Really, really, it's magical, quite honestly. I don't even know what else to say, how to say it, because you really get to learn the power of the body. So you can heal from anything. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. Of course. Yeah. So because I treat so many people, and I treat so many people from so many different, not just United States, I treat them from different parts of the world. And because I'm a data doctor and I treat with other data doctors, we get notifications of things, right? So, but again, we're gonna get out of the germ theory, and we're gonna actually start looking at Bechamp's terrain theory. So when we begin to shift from that reactive thinking that we're all trained and conditioned in with our health to a more proactive perspective, then we don't fear those things, because in truth, those things are very, very small in comparison to what's going on with chronic health and chronic disease. That's the major driver. It's not and ironically, if our metabolisms were stronger, our immune systems would be stronger. Because all diseases begin and end from breakdowns in the metabolism. There's a book about this that I'll share with you when we get to that week where we talk about more metabolic things. So it'll take some time, but we'll get all the information out there. Again, there's a lot. There's an absolute lot. So definitely tune in. Try to relax, try to breathe. I ran into a lady that does like goal setting and stuff like that, and she has a Sunday class. So if you're finding that you're getting overwhelmed with your week, definitely check her class out, because then you can set your intention for the week. I know on Sunday I do that every single week. I set my intention for the week. That way when I'm in my week, I'm good, right? I do my morning flows. I already know what I need to do for the day, and I just roll through it. So I'm not a statistician, but we have had to do stats in PH level. So I haven't finished my PhD. I do have 2 doctorates, but neither one of them are PhDs. So I started an applied psychophysiology PhD. So I was in that program for about 2 years. And then I decided to leave that program because of so much systemic racism. It was crazy. So then I changed to a PhD in international psychology with an emphasis in organizational systems. Now, I did my first year with them, and then I just took a pause because they wanted me to go to Germany in the winter. And I live in the Caribbean now. So the cold in the winter was like, no thank you. So plus 2, I needed a little bit of a break, from school. I needed to take a step back and work on some things. So yeah. Yeah, so you'll get an email when you register for the class. So to register, you click the link in the bio, scroll down. Also, the second video on Intro to Holistic Medicine playlist actually teaches you how to register. It shows you exactly. You just go to the link in the bio, scroll down. There's a form, Intro to Holistic Medicine. Click on that form. Then you fill it out. It'll ask you specific questions. We're trying to understand what your needs are, and then it'll send you an email after that, and then it'll give you all the information. And just keep up with the emails. And also too, I've been playing around with like my stories. So like like on IG and TikTok, it gives you like your stories, like a thought bubble. So when I've posted like something new, I've been changing my thought bubble where it says like pre-work is posted, or discussion is posted. So just look out. Like, I've just been kind of playing around with different things. But if you're in the community, you'll definitely get all of the information you need right from there. That's why it's much easier to organize it there than multiple platforms. So if I'm streaming, right, imagine this is like TV, right? We're just kind of in TV land, and then everybody kind of, the show's over, and then we all go back to our little huddle houses, and we have our discussions. So it just keeps it organized. It keeps it, it just keeps it in a flow. So I try to keep things in a flow. All right, cool. Any other questions before I log off and hang out? I think we're gonna have a little champagne for another year done. So here we are. We made it. We did it. We did it. Whoop 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 whoop. All right, cool. All right, so one last time, I'll run through all of it, and then we'll finish out. So this is info session for Intro to Holistic Medicine. This is a 12-week course, and so it's broken up into 3 parts. Part 1 is foundations. We talk about really the history, the background, the science, the legalities, all different aspects of holistic medicine in the first 4 weeks. It's broken down into, again, we look at ethics, jurisprudence, then we look at subjective data. We are going to work with 1 questionnaire in this particular class. There is an app that you'll be using as well. That's what we use for remote patient monitoring. There is no fee to use any of these tools, devices, etc. However, if you want to get a certificate, there is a fee for that. Obviously, if you want to take it more seriously and structure and invest, please do, because we do put you in a little bit of a different container, and kind of I work with you a little bit more directly. So we look at the subjective data with 1 questionnaire, then we look at objective data. In this class, we're going to look at 3 objective markers: salivary pH, urinary pH, and heart rate, right? So we look at how you're digesting, how you're assimilating, and we also look at how your body is detoxifying and how your body is managing stress. So those are the different metrics that we're going to look at. And then in the second part, we're going to look at the modalities. So we're going to look at how nutrition, how eating certain things impacts your pH levels, right, up or down. We're also going to look at how stress impacts your pH levels. We'll look at how movement impacts it. We'll look at how this impacts all of these metrics. So you begin to see the impact of healthy nutrition and the impact of movement and the impact of mindfulness. And you'll be able to have data to be able to understand specifically how this is impacting you. So you're not waiting for a lab or a CDC or an NIH or anybody else. It's just you with a little bit of data and a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of guidance, and away we go. So in that way, you'll be able to check yourself and say, oh, I've got this going on here. Let me check this. Hey, let me check this. One of the reasons why I created so much access in my care was because so many people would run to the ER like all the time. Like they would be frequent flyers in and out, in and out, in and out for things that the ER could not help them with. And then they get frustrated because the ER would turn them away or gaslight them or whatever, right? And so I really created that bridge in between with my practice where people could reach out. Now, still people are very programmed and trained, so they're still going to keep going to the ER and all that stuff for things they don't need. But if we can begin to educate people out of this reactive state in this more proactive state, we can teach them, oh, okay, so I'm not feeling well. What could it be? What's my checklist, right? So get you thinking about your health like a doctor would, right? Because you are your own physician. Physician, heal thyself, right? And so understanding these basic things, basic parameters, that way when you understand your own data, when you, let's say if you have to go into a healthcare setting, you're going in with, okay, I've got this information, this information. I know this part, but I don't know this part. You know, can you fill in this part? You know, you're now more in the driver's seat in your healthcare than if you're going in completely blind, you don't know anything, and you're just dependent upon them to rescue you or save you, right? They're not there to rescue, they're not there to save you, they're there to give you their opinion based off of their training, right? Their training is not the gospel. That's why we're going to talk about superiority bias, we're going to talk about confirmation bias, because sometimes I may say things that conflict with what you have learned or what you've trained or what you think you know, but the reality is that the data is the data is the data. I can't change the data, right? We can't manipulate the data. Even though Pfizer paid out upwards 60, I think billion, if not million, I'm not sure if it was an M or a B. Nonetheless, they paid out a lot of money to these peer reviewers to pretty much lie and lose the integrity of our data. And so again, even in my first PhD, I saw the corruption. I could see it plain and simple. I said, this is ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that they're reduced down to only a select few of peer reviewers who are just old and don't really know. And I'm not any shade to peer reviewers. I'm sure there's some really good ones out there, but there is a lot of corruption. And so we can't depend on the data. And we saw that during COVID. So what am I going to do? If I'm a data girl and I'm seeing this data and I'm going, wait a second, this data is harming people. How we're applying this information is harming people. I would be remiss and I would be complicit if I didn't speak out. So this is a way that I can educate you and really help you to see, right? And also not like, I'm not trying to force anything down your throat. Like if you want to hold on to the status quo, great. But for me, I understand it very well. And just want to make sure that people know and get it. So, goodness, do you guys have any other questions for me before I jump off? No, this was not the first class. This is just an info session. Your first live class is on Wednesday. If you look on TikTok, it has my classes. I do have another class that I teach, Morning Flow. It's in the morning. That's just a drop-in class, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. If you are on Eastern Standard Time. There have been a few requests for us to do something for the SoCal crowd or the Cali crowd, and so I may do like an afternoon kind of morning flow, like an afternoon flow, but it's supposed to be morning for the West, but it'll be an afternoon flow for the East. So we'll work it out. Remember, this is a community, right? So we're talking back and forth. My DMs are open. You can comment on any of my comments. I've been a concierge, a private doctor for a long time, so I'm used to working my phone. So don't feel like if you have a question, you're like, I can't ask her. Oh my God, like. I'm a real person. That's why I jumped on live. Like, so just feel free. Like, we're all going to get through this together. Everybody breathe. Get some of this Caribbean, vibe on you, and just relax in. Holistic medicine is an amazing practice. I'm going to guide you through. It's going to take, a little bit of doing, but we'll figure it out. No problem. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to log off now. And I'm going to grab a little bite to eat and see what the hubby is doing. He looks like he's roaming around. He was napping and now he's up. So I'll see. So, all right, guys. So check out the pre-work. So look at the playlist that I just had. I just literally posted the last one. Look at the pre-work. Read through it. There's some journal prompts there. Meditate. Figure out which community you want to be a part of. Join the community when the email gets it. If you don't get the email yet, it's okay. You'll get another one. I promise. I send out a lot. I'm also going through security verifications to send you guys text messages as well to alert you when the classes are being held and everything. So I got you.